CA.
We're back after Made in Brazil make their work very hard for themselves. INTZ, they put up a good fight on Dust 2, though there wasn't, like we spoke about in the pre-match, wasn't exactly tactical depth to it. It was kind of rush and go, rush and go. Maybe more flashes and smokes than luminosity there.
Yeah, a few more, right? It felt to me like once overtime hit, it was like, all right, kids, playtime's over.
Yeah.
Daddy's home. Actually, Daddy's at home. Let's point that out.
Yeah.
I was on Instagram a little bit. Sorry, I was on Instagram. I have to admit, and I saw Janko having a good old jolly little time off in Serbia. So obviously, maybe that's the reason why the boys are, the cat is out.
Kicking back.
The mouses are getting out and just having a bit of fun. No, but in reality, obviously, MIBR definitely not on full force right now in terms of the way that they approach these games. It's a little Hail Marys here and there. A lot of B rushes coming in. A lot of situations also where they have the man advantage, like have to be said. But still somehow someone from INTZ just come in and just get like a multi-kill. As we see a bit of an awkward moment for Harvey here. I think his mouse just went.
Yeah, she gave up.
I don't know what happened there. I'm not going to start analyzing that because, weird things. But yeah, yeah, MIBR definitely just like the way that they were approaching a lot of these rounds, apart from that overtime. Like even on overtime, the first round, once they took over long, Harvey was in the pit, as we see him here, just denying all of MIBR, who are coming in, by the way, very much one by one. The same thing happened on overtime as well, where Harvey was in pit, and he was just giving individual duels so many times. It's just dreadful to see from like a top tier team as MIBR is. You'd think that they'd have a plan on how to do things, but also like it kind of, again, another example of how volatile a map like Dust 2 can be, because then you try to, like, I can understand kind of the approach that MIBR had. You try to throw in some Hail Marys because you play against an unknown quantity, and the Dust 2 as a map kind of lends towards playing random, but then you just still think that you kind of slow it down a little bit. You do your basic things right, and you'd be golden. But instead, you try to like force your way through the middle box or like through middle doors really early on, get picked apart a couple of times without having that Xbox smoke to help you in the catwalk. You'd get the memo at that point in time.
Yeah.
Maybe we want to slow it down and be a little bit more methodical.
And this is the thing, right? It's these kind of worrying signs where MIBR maybe underestimate an opponent, or like you said, don't have the focus when it goes into the actual match of it, and they allow these kind of situations to happen because they were ahead, 15-10, 15-11, let it slip away, you come back into the game and you think, oh, okay, you get to overtime, now you want to play the game. Maybe just do that earlier to save yourself. Not like embarrassment, right? This is a legendary lineup. It's got incredibly skilled players, major winners across the board, but it's more like, why do you make this so hard for yourself? Because we know how Counter-Strike can be.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to just put this only on MIBR. You gotta give a bit of credit to INTZ as well, and the individuals in that team, especially CT sides. KNG had a lot of moments where he was getting fast, snappy kills, like having to do this 90, 180 degree swipes here and there, and just getting pressured from multiple angles. Still managed to get kills, and Phelps also bring on the numbers. He was the only one that had a positive KD through INTZ as well. So that's good signs going forward. Obviously, he was having some good entry effect coming through catwalk, getting multi-kills on a bomb side. So yeah, that's the good thing for INTZ for sure. But then obviously we need to get a bigger sample size and see how they play. Obviously going into the next map, which is a little bit of a more tactical affair.
Yeah, we're going into Inferno, which is coming up next. But before we get there, we have one of our golden moments from Rush. It is a pro tip for you.
Hey Future Pros! Today we travel to Inferno to give you a hot smoke. This smoke will land in Arch. You are visible to mid when throwing this smoke, so make sure you already have mid control before lining it up. To do this smoke, get in front of this broom. Then aim to this window and move your crosshair up to the highlighted area and then throw. This will block off anyone playing in or outside of Arch, but be careful as they might try to re-peek from Library.
Our pro tips there to not just help the experienced players, but give a a boost to the players, maybe just tuning in for the first time, starting their little Counter-Strike career out. Certainly things you can take into your own game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you want to be a good friend to your bug friends, basically,
Yeah.
go through all the Rush League pro tips. You know, good little smokes, little pop flashes here and there. You'll be a desired teammate because knowing these basic smokes is actually a massive thing. If you go to the pub, you're like, can anyone smoke Arch? And it's dead silent. No one knows how to smoke Arch. That can make a difference between winning and losing, right? So, yeah, it's definitely useful.
Utility's important, and who else is important? It's Launders and Scrawny as you come back ahead of Inferno for this. Little smile on your face there, Scrawny. You like being known as important.
Yeah, I'm not often called that, so I'm going to bask in this glory. Thank you.
Take it for a moment. It's fine. See, Launders is just used to it, right? So like, yep, cool.
Yeah, it's
Another
too
day in the
cool to be
office.
appreciative.
Yeah. Launders, you're good at math. Oh, wow. Straight to my heart.
All right, so we saw it, MIBR, right? Not kind of playing up to standard again. We talk about their focus, but also INTZ actually looking like they're capable, showing the actual individual skill across there. Inferno, a bit more of a tactical map coming into it. Maybe a bit tougher for this time around. Do you reckon they can kind of take us all the way, or even maybe take a map?
I don't think Inferno, I don't think there's any way. I think I'm not so impressed with just like the team right now, just with INTZ, just because their T side, we didn't see a lot from it.
True.
They got some rounds, but it seems like they were just kind of rushing and stuff like that. So I don't really,
Let's
I don't think
go.
they'll get away with that on Inferno. Maybe a B rush on an eco or something like that, but not a whole half. Definitely not a map.
I mean, again, I don't really know what to expect anymore because it's so hard to figure out what we're going to get from MIBR. There's been times where they've looked shaky, and then there's rounds where they just dominate.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to give them the edge because they're supposed to be one of the best teams in the world. I think that INTZ can do something. Clearly on Dust 2, they're capable of slipping away with rounds. I think it's made more difficult by the fact we're no longer on Dust, and so I'm expecting MIBR to give us that convincing fashion here and now. I mean, it's about time.
Yeah, we haven't seen it from them much at all, but it's time to get into the game. It's time to see if MIBR can make this a little bit easier on themselves. So guys, get into the action and take it away.
Sounds good. You know, I don't want to harp too hard on MIBR Launders, but I feel like, you know, even if you were to ask these players themselves if they're happy with the results, the answer is going to be no.
No.
These are very hungry individuals.
I
And
don't
they
know
hold
if Natu
themselves...
brought up that Yanko was like getting drunk in Serbia or something right now, so they've got no one to
that's true.
no
Could
one
be
to
the
stand right
solution.
behind them and
We talked about that,
make
right?
sure that they're playing well.
We said that when Yanko's around, then you've got to be worried of the cuff upside the head.
Absolutely. He
But-
might just kick a chair behind you.
Yeah. But for now, we'll see what's on this menu and what's going to be served out. What's the specialty dish from INTZ on Inferno?
Little penne risotto,
A filet mignon,
prime rib,
250 grams, with a garden salad and some mashed potatoes.
some hollandaise sauce.
Zan's got a little bit of an angle from Coffin. The vision's obscured, and he's already getting wrapped around from construction. For him, still manages one kill, which is a little something, but not all too much. Phelps, quick chase. Wants to deny this plant if he can, but he can't. They've already managed to move their way towards the coffins, over towards construction. Furthermore, it is duels and duels that will decide this outcome. Headshots aplenty all across the kill feed. It leaves it on Horvey and Cold. And Cold Zero's going to take the initiative. He's out into the open. Could play cover, but why would you need it when you've got aim like that?
That's crazy. Yeah, he just pushed him all the way into that corner, made sure you didn't feel comfortable just sitting there reloading, resetting the opportunity, and yeah, continually put pressure on him. It seems like that's definitely the pace that MIBR want to set. I feel like going to OT is a little bit of mud on their face, to be honest, and on Dust 2. And I'm not, again, I forgot to clarify if the points change for the win in OT or if it's just a win is a win. But as for MIBR right now, I'm sure they don't want to just even have, they just don't want to look bad. You know, they're also going up against a home team here, so I feel like there's something else there that's going to make them want to perform above expectations. So, Cold Zera, what'll he do? There's one player knocked down. That's Fur from the balcony. Phelps, his former partner in crime.
Oof. Taken out. Goes for the peek. Bites off more than he can chew. Now he's got a bit of a sore jaw. Bullet to the face. And Cello's still patiently in place on the arch side, waiting for them to come around this corner, which they have for a moment. And then they hesitate and stall. But if they stall too long, then Horvey could find a bit of footing here. A little bit of impact could be his. But he jumps the gun, Mohan. Gets nothing for his efforts.
Does pull the trigger a little bit earlier. Hairpin on that trigger. And now MIBR take the long walk back to B. One man in the lead. That's Stewie 2K. Mac 10. Fast movement speed. Aggressive player. It's a great combo to be in first.
Mac 10 goes past. No way.
Ooh.
So many bodies there, and still Stewie gets the best of them. There's a third one in the oranges. Zan, known to lock down B sites before, and he's not able to finish off Stewie. 1v1, swaps guns, spotted and dealt with by Horvey. MIBR can't convert.
Zan does a little bit too much damage, and somehow the rest of Stewie's teammates die here. Cello, Zan both combined for kills, and then Stewie comes in for the cleanup, but here's Zan just doing almost 190 damage to the two of them. Stewie even labored to get those 2 headshots with the Glock. Seemed like the reload was about to come in, the animation was about to end, and he was about to get killed. But Zan didn't do a great job delaying long enough that his other teammate had that locked up. Cold Zera knocks fell right out of the window, right back into the apartments.
Back to the depths of which he came. What's the shakeup? How does that change things? INTZ, you're gonna have to take it into consideration. Careful. Tarek CZ dishing damage. Not that much. Not as much as he's taken himself. The MP5 continues to fade away.
KNG holding the off angle at mid. A bunch of the offense looking to put pressure. And he now recedes into the corner. He's got no support, however. Could be hard cleared.
Or not checked at all. Amateur mistakes here, Launders.
Yeah, it's a risk if you want to clear Cubby. If you have 2 people, you should definitely do it, though. But sometimes turning around can get you killed from Arch. Sometimes you skip an angle just because you're out of time. Sometimes you do it because you're on the eco. Sometimes you read. But, whoa, look at that. The B side's actually cracked wide open. The bomb goes across. Luckily for Stewie, he can actually recover this. The flash also is good. And the 2 players coming on down on Banana, I mean, they might be food for fur.
Yeah, he's got the armor, he's got the M4, he's got the angle, but not the aim. Cello
MP5?
bests him. Stewie's gonna have to get big with this Galil. Turns around, immediately drops first body. He's anticipating some kind of construction run out. A great 180, but no, cannot nail himself the third. He falls at coffins. And even though it's costly, it is INTZ with another.
Yeah, he gives up on the last kill. Proop could have strafed out, try to get that 1v3. Feels like we haven't seen a clutch happen in a long time. That would have been a good one. But, wow, what is this gun, man? The MP7. Fur had the good crosshair placement, sprayed him at the body just like the MP7 did to him. I don't think there was a headshot involved, and still the MP7 outdueled him. That was, or the MP5, excuse me. That's crazy. What a weapon.
I like it because it's still strong, but obviously not R8-esque. Right? Not literally broken. Whoa. Woo. Still, there are dangerous pistols on the field. Don't sleep on MIBR. Need a smoke to the face. Frag follows suit. And there's the 3-piece combo with Frag.
And a biscuit. Oh! Oh my goodness.
Tarek, you devilish son of a gun.
Content king.
Gonna get past long as well. They managed to get into the site. That's a plant on top of it. All you need is 3 Deegs. And a 4th. Why not?
Let's make it 5. 1 player left. Horvey, where you at, buddy? Ah, see? Should have used the Deagle.
Yeah.
What'd that gun get you this round?
So back and forth affair. This is quite the clash we've had. At the end of the day, though, this is just going to continue to favor MIBR. I mean, 2 rounds on the T side, shaky cash here for INTZ.
Yeah, happy to go punch for punch on the T side. Everything's so much cheaper. It's like Istanbul versus Denmark.
Yeah,
TNCT side.
quite the culture shock. Our Canadian dollar doesn't go so far here.
No, doesn't go very far at all.
Kind of just politely fizzles out.
Mm-hmm. Some very expensive but good tasting vegetables.
Those carrots, I'm telling you.
They're of quality.
World class, just like that double deagle. I love the peek into Zand. He knows exactly where he's at, and sure enough, smashes his face into the wall. Essentially a curb stomp.
American History X.
Great film.
Oh, you watched it?
Maybe I was just saying great film.
Maybe you were just saying great film. There was a chance that it could have been a TV show I was referencing, so I feel like you have seen it. Or maybe you just knew about it.
No, that's such an impactful film. You've got to have it on the repertoire. How does Phelps get out of here? I mean, quick push, gets the kill, grabs the gun. Fur's still floating within this, and that's what could be the problem for INTZ, because how do you move that weapon over to where it matters most, the B site, which is where MIBR are charging forward. Fallen kills Stewie. This is not going to make your job any easier, Fallen. He's done goofed it, but still in a manageable situation.
Absolutely. Fallen wants to continue to make input or to have impact there, and Fur gets a kill. I don't know if Fur thinks A site is done with. He's taking his time here. Only took a bit of damage there for a lot of information. I think that's worthwhile. 48 seconds left over. That Molotov holds him off for 7, but that's not going to be enough. Also gets killed. Displaces the aim, and even though Phelps come for the readjustment, Fur's there and picks up the last kill as well. That was all him.
Yep, shaky legs for MIBR, but still rounds regardless, and that's when they're going to start stabilizing, is now that they've gotten these force buys and wonky scenarios out of the way. Oh.
He tried really hard for that.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
Yeah. You have to earn it. It's not easy to kill Stewie.
You know,
do we always hear them talk in this game?
No, not all the time, and that line's actually really rare, but...
wow, we unlocked a rare line.
It's my only claim to Counter-Strike. Scrawny little birds. Just feathers and bones.
Is that what it says?
Yeah. Gonna have that tattooed across my forehead.
That would be lame. I'd also fire you. We'd have to have Camilla go 3 times over on your forehead.
You
just
can't
cover
fire
it up.
me. You're not my boss.
I'm gonna fire you. You're gonna get a letter and you're gonna be surprised. Like, wow, I just got fired.
It's just a big picture of your face. With your
yeah,
fire.
without writing on the forehead. That's the difference.
This is how you should look. And that's the same that can be said versus this anti-eco. Nice and easy so far, other than Tarek's damage. They're just kind of assuming map control with ease. Sidelining KNG. And who's up next? Looks like poor Zand. Hiding. Ooh! USP. Bites back. Small bark. But powerful jaws.
Tarek knows.
Knows that he's being chased. Turok. Got him. So 1 man down, not a problem. Nice little 3-piece from Tarek. 4-2 the score. Into the gun round. This is when I want to see what they have to offer.
Coleslaw or mashed potatoes as a side for your 3-piece?
Coleslaw.
Okay.
If it's creamy.
Yeah.
Miss me with that original.
Okay, fair enough. Glad we got that sorted out.
Yeah. It's very crucial, right? If we're going to be friends. If we're going to make this work.
The whole fast food thing is just very important to sort out.
Well, I just need to know if you're, some kind of sociopath.
I really want to try. I think there might be better questions, but I'm not exactly sure.
No, I think the devil's in the details.
Keyword devil. Apartments flash. Falling with the run throw.
Gonna be good for the burst, and it's successful. Cello gets played. Bert and Tarek, beautiful entries here. That's just the entire defense gone, and the B site doesn't even know what hit him.
Absolutely smoked. They just seem to have no idea that that was potentially possible. Cello was just trained on mid. The flash came over. That you can get caught by that. The apartments flash out like it's typically a strat that you see a lot of times on the ecos, but if the teams aren't prepared with anyone on balcony, which is maybe a little bit more common of a position to play than just pit, then the only reason it's a little bit more dynamic. You still can get pre-fired and stuff, so you're not necessarily safe, but you can always get a kill and then fall off in a pit and then also play small pit, which sometimes works better, but it just comes down to what kind of player you are. However, it seemed like they just stood absolutely no chance there. I would be surprised to see them get caught by that again. And I would like to see now what the next setup is going to be. But Cole just wallbanged him with like 6 bullets in the library. And I mean, these are nasty entries.
Yep, all headshots again, right? We talk about that aim making a difference.
Sure, yeah.
And MIBR, I think, have definitely warmed up since map 1.
So another terrible buy for INTZ. They get the smokes, so I wonder if they do the refresh smokes on banana, where they consistently cycle someone out, or they just figure out where VTs will go first, and it looks like mid's the first place. They won't even be able to let them go. Do they want to explore further? It's clearly the right idea.
Only man at the A site left over is poor old Horvey. Hanging on for dear life, shaking in his little boots. Or footwear of choice. MIBR just crawling their way forward here. You don't want to walk into what could still be the stack, and I don't think they have confirmation as to where exactly they're at. It's 2 on Arch side, 1 in apps. Can't manage the peak. Now he's revealed, and that's going to be problematic for him. The moment he goes back for seconds, he's supposed to be dealt with, which he is, but still at a cost. That's 2 frags versus MIBR and a near third in Tarek.
Yeah, not too bad. Not the cleanest, but not too bad. And let's see, Zand, can he pick up a gun? He runs to grab a smoke. Oh, there it is, just in the corner. So makes a tactical play of it, and is on such low HP, can't risk trying to be greedy and hold on to the flash as well. So now can maybe get to construction, set up in a post-exit situation. And Stewie is here on the hunt, full HP. Player on the fountain goes down instantly, knows that a teammate will likely be close by or late into banana. And I'm sure that Zand at this point has found sanctuary.
But has he found Solstice?
Found Solstice? Solace?
Yeah. That.
Quantum of Solace? Summer solstice? Actually, it should be pronounced solace.
Should it?
Yeah.
Thank you. How do you pronounce fire? Because that's the key to this one.
I think you did a good job.
Good. I would hope. Not getting too technical in this round. Or the vocabulary in that fact. Because it is simple. It is straightforward. It is right into banana and then B. They continue on. Solstice.
Shake it up with a summer solstice.
Oh my goodness. Maybe I do it on purpose so that I could be the butt end of your jokes.
You could totally claim that. I mean, there's no way there's no way I could verify that.
I wouldn't lie to you, Lunders. Don't worry.
A little late now. You seem very honest. So.
Furt rounding a corner. Does he get a kill? Go.
He just cleared that so perfectly. Like he stopped just out of range of Horvey. I mean, that was just nuts.
Yeah. Don't give him any points for the smoke though.
Yeah, we'll forget about that.
Falls into KNG's lap. So the AWP is up. Could still be hunted here, but MIBR, I don't think they're in a really ultra comfortable spot.
What is a solstice though? Is that a summer fiesta?
Yeah, summer
solstice.
solstice.
A break during the day?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's like a,
oh no, that's
a
siesta.
Of
a siesta
beginning.
is the afternoon break.
Yeah, I think the solstice is like the celebration of the beginning of summer.
Okay.
Like it's like the first day, June 21st.
Oh, does that have some ties to astrology? Is that what the solstice, sun solsticized?
Alka-Seltzer.
Kafilka fish.
KNG's op is kept. I believe that's the only one. No, Phelps would have survived as well, I believe. Things got hairy towards the end. They obviously pushed them back towards pit. MIBR did, in fact, have that economic backbone to stand on, so I was wrong. They did have the ability to go for the push, throw it all on the line, and take more than they could have given up.
For once again showing that he is the king of apartments. Working it well. Trying to ensure and push this lead as far as it can go. But since his teammates aren't prepared to do anything quite yet, he's going to slow it down. Consider his options. Oh, and looked like he just made up that smoke on the fly.
Right in his face, KNG still able to regain some vision. Zan's gonna just hide in this corner, cross his fingers and his toes, in hopes that nobody notices. But it looks like they've just completely rejected the idea of continuing on into B. It was a fake, a phony. It's still not going to be easy here to get past the cusp of brackets. Cello, easy kill to Tarek, who peeks alone, unable to be traded. Now that Cold comes wide, Cello still manages to hold on to this, even though that Arch player has now wrapped back into the A bomb site. They haven't managed to find their way past mid. Everybody gets cut down. What a convincing round here from INTZ. Fallen sure finds a little bit of something, but probably not much more.
Yeah, looking for the save right now. I think the CTs might have assumed he goes down mid, but they also heard him take a footstep in the middle of arches, so I don't know if they give chase. They've got a lot to lose. MIBR can afford to give up this kill. Giving up the op would not be great, however, so maybe the stalemate is for the best for both teams. And now INTZ will be able to buy again, and it's going to come down to this just MP5, right? I mean, what is this?
It's way too early to be like, it needs a nerf, but I mean, I think it's
it will 100% get nerfed.
It's noteworthy. It's noteworthy that it's at least getting so much usage, right? It is taking over the SMG meta.
They know what its balance should be, but they need people to use it. And at first, since people are not going to be good with the gun, they balance that by making it overpowered.
Yeah.
So when people start getting good at the gun, that's when people will start going, oh my god.
Good crossfire right out between Boiler and the apps. They catch what has been a pretty consistent presence from MIBR, always going into the apartments. Zan to be tested, Molotov, smoke, flash, AK up. No targets present themselves though, and they do manage to wrap around coffins. Another body spotted. 2 swift headshots puts Fallen on his back foot. He is all alone, and Zand, well, he seems to know.
He's quite the aimer, isn't he? He's really hitting these flicks. Looking quite quick. And I think he started off really shaky on Dust 2.
Yeah, he had only 3 kills by the time he got that 1 4K in the B site.
Right.
I think he still finished the game with probably less than 10 frags.
Maybe he's shaking off the nerves now.
But he does have this consistent role, right? He's very much an anchor, whether that be the B on A or now here behind oranges all the time. So I think, you know, I'm, again, unfamiliar with him, so I'm just trying to figure out what kind of player he is. And it's very obvious on CT sides he's an anchor. And it's very important that he does a good job on Inferno, which so far he has.
Pop flash to make KNG fall back, but it's no secret he was at B. Now what are they going to do? They're going to push up Banana quite quickly. Clear everything out with Molotovs right now. Are they going to move right into an execute? Or are they going to use this information to fall back? We'll find out. Zan's going to have a lot of pressure put on him again.
Good first kill. And once more from Coffins. Can't manage to get it as swiftly as he did the last. Not going to go past the smoke. Instead, he'll go over top. And Tarek locking down middle. Just completely 180s the results of these rounds. I mean, this one, this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes MIBR, you see what they are. A bunch of beasts, monsters that just overwhelm and envelop. Give chase confidently. Kind of choking out in.
Yeah, they suck up their opponents like a Dyson vacuum on high power.
Ugh. Sounds violent.
What would that sound like?
Probably more of a guttural in there at the same time,
right.
You know? But I can't do both. You know, if casting ever fails, and I'm open to the possibility,
yeah,
I'm just gonna
you
start
voice
recording
act the
sounds.
Dyson animation. Oh, what?
Yeah. No, just like voice acting, but for sound effects.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, you can make them with computers, but you got to get that genuine human experience. That'd probably fail too.
Also, if the really creepy old guy from Family Guy ever dies in real life, you could take over his role.
I could.
Hey there, paper boy. You want to buy and spawn?
You got to get the whistle in there, though. That's a really crucial part.
Yeah, is that hard? Is that?
Yeah, I can't whistle when I speak.
Don't you have it? I've heard it sometimes. It doesn't come with it?
No.
Oh, wow. You think he records over?
No, I think it's just talented.
Just nails it?
That's what voice actors are, right?
That's how he keeps his job?
And then the fact that they have, I mean, you know, they're going to have like split personality disorder just because there's so many voice actors that do so many characters. Like,
Yeah.
look at the, you know, look at like the Simpsons cast.
Like Bart and
yeah,
also
they're
the grandma.
so many of the same.
smoking aunts, and what else? She does so many voices, right?
Same with like Family Guy and American Dad. Very talented folks. So we talk about this over the pause, and we come back into the action, all fixated on CS. We're fixated towards Banana in terms of the defense here. These couple of CZs in the corners. Gonna have a little boost over the wall. Hello, Zand, and goodbye, Orby. Instantly cleared on out. Coldzera with the Fallen impression, softening his teammates through smoke, but it's all obviously worth it because they're going to charge in and get this bomb plant while Tarek holds the line. Anticipate more CTs dying in the very near future.
Very sensible position to just cut off all of the rotates through mid. Can be kind of predictable at times, but you also have kind of an advantage depending on where they peek out from. And there it is. There's one man left. It's Phelps. He's going up against Tarek again, and he won't even clear him as well, assuming that he moved.
But he didn't.
No, Tarek went 2 levels deep.
Steadfast. Piled up the bodies. Poor Zan never stood a chance.
Welcome to Invite.
Yeah, an obliteration there. How's the individual play looking? Tarek 15 and 8, 13 frags for Stu. So the Americanos taken over for the time being. Fantastic T side being pieced together here, so I wouldn't say that the CT success of INTZ's transition from Dust to Inferno. ANG nearly burned alive, but it's as he repeats, the bullets will get him, and there's Stewie just edging the side of the wall. CT spawn held onto by Phelps, so they're not going to be able to wrap around into B. Not that that's the target nor plan. Looks like Tarek will take this slowly, but it pays off in dividends because only Horvey is left on A.
I think we've officially reached the runaround part of the half for MIBR, where they're starting to feel very comfortable and they can just pick up the pace.
Yeah, I feel like there has to be that kind of calmed state at the start of things, just based on the result it does to you. It's like, whoa, these guys can play CS.
Took us to OT, you know, maybe we have to turn it up.
Yeah, which they most certainly have. Good turn of affairs. MIBR showing why they are one of the best thus far. Still at least one more chance for INTZ to get themselves around. Do you pronounce it Z or Z? You ever say Z?
I say both.
Yeah, I think it's
Do you say both?
Yeah.
I don't like how Z sounds, but I don't like how Z sounds.
I'll pronounce it based on the sentence structure, because that way you can
Okay.
rhyme with more things. Or it just sounds nicer.
There you go.
I feel like it's more punctual, you know? Z.
Z.
Know what I mean?
It does seem like Z is a little bit more airy, a little bit more like higher pitched.
I don't like words with 2 vowels. Like, you know, ending on 2 vowels. Is that because if
Like
you were
puree?
if you were to spell, yeah, exactly.
Is that a word?
Oh, I'm just getting angry thinking about it.
Don't you have a lot of those in French or no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do.
That's why you guys are so mad all the time.
There's a lot to be mad about. Not if you're MIBR. This is a stellar first showing in the opening 15. Obviously, dispatching of the CTs this round 2. Eventually, they'll find Cello, and he is the one biggest threat because he's got his hands on the gun. Now he's blown Stewie away. Gets himself a second, not the third. Fallen a little too quick. The other counter-terrorist spotted 1 health for Cold. He needs the headshot, and he's not going to find it. So we've got a clutch between Fallen and Little Zan.
Let's go. Now he's got to do the Zanarchy World Tour as he makes his way all the way around through spawn. And Fallen knows. And the 1BX actually cleared out mid here, so this is a very unexpected position, you would assume. But it might end up with him tapping the bomb. Does he go for this kill?
Oh no!
Oh my god!
That was too scary.
Is the bomb planted default or on the back of default?
The side of default, kind of exposed.
Oh, okay.
for
So
pit
he would have been
library.
okay from.
Yeah, like
okay.
on this right side of the box
Gotcha.
stack.
All right.
Yeah, he would have been all right. Oh, that's the very, very last frag as well. Cool little replay there. We see how it looks from this angle. Is the bomb there? I don't see it.
Oh yeah, maybe it's just
Maybe
on
it's
the back.
not
Either
showing.
way, you're still.
Yeah,
you're still good.
regardless. Alas, it
Alas.
is the first 15 which have gone past, and 11 belong to MIBR. It's minimal, to say the least, here for INTZ.
Not looking too hot for sure.
But at least they have claim to fame. They did take the first map into overtime, so that's a good enough showing. Again, you know, we're not going to judge a team like this based on their performance versus the top dogs of this league.
Yeah.
Right? You know, throw them up against the middle of the pack, and let's see who goes toe-to-toe. But this is a fast pistol. Look at MIBR looking to really keep up the pace from the previous 15. Fallen with a double. Cello, the exact same body counts stacking up per side. Stewie trying not to die, but he's pinched in from multiple directions. Cello just Goomba stomps him. And finally, the pistol will come to a close. An explosive start and a frantic finish. MIBR take it, though.
Maybe it's for the best. If ENTZ have to show us, they will still do it if they get an AKs, if they get AKs. So, and whoa, they buy right here. They're going to go ahead for the $2,000 to $2,500 buy and pick up a couple of Galils.
I have much more faith in this when it's AKs.
Yeah, they didn't get the pistol kills to get the AKs.
Yeah, and that could make the difference, but I do enjoy the fact that they actually still will go for this. KNG has to get these first two kills. He needs a couple of frags, and he will find Fur. Next Galil in line, damaging both ways. Gotta be cautious. These MP9 can rip you to pieces, even if you have the Kevlar, because they're at this range. Zan wants to get his paws on a gun, but Stewie's gonna contain that. And Cello's gotten a chance to slip past. Phelps nowhere to be near, and therefore it falls on him, but he does get the headshot first. Cold and Tarek could both die to a follow-up bullet.
Oh, they're gonna hear him.
Yeah, and he only has 15 here, Mohan, so not looking good. MIBR obviously costly, but not to worry because they had so many SMGs. They will still have some cash, and with INTZ having 4-spot, they have some woes ahead.
Yeah, and ENTZ know that, and sorry, MIBR know that ENTZ are dead broke after that, so they pretty much know exactly how much money each player has. And technically, ENTZ could pull off the same buy again, which is kind of interesting. 2 players could get armor, 2 players could drop them Galils, 1 player could get some nades if they wanted to, but why try what failed and what will be obvious at this point.
Yeah, same attempt as the previous round. MIBR just go gunning forward, and it is to no surprise and absolutely no avail that INTZ have died.
Can be a quick close now, but ENTZ immediately pull the trigger, flips. Phelps buys an AK. That could be his Bizarro version.
What would be your Bizarro
Flips
version?
with the backwards cap. Shrednal.
Shrednal?
Just launches backwards.
Oh, okay. Why did you know that so quickly?
So, you'll know when you have fans, Connor.
We'll get there. KNG already getting his way up mid. Zan takes a lot of damage for it, but regardless, it's a 5v4 nonetheless. They're going to have to reposition because nobody actually managed to push themselves towards the pit at the start of this round. KNG, he wants to just lead this charge forward. Phelps will take his place and traded immediately so. Fallen, peeking, and holding this line in order to curb the enthusiasm of INTZ. The trickle-down smoke. This gives vision to anybody coming out and screws anybody close, but Fallen has a high angle. Doesn't go to the low ground. KNG finally dealt with. Did put up a valiant fight, but so will Fur. Comes out of the pit with a smoke in hand. Get your gun back out. Cello and Stewie to duel 1v1. And Cello's got the bomb, but Stewie's close enough to the corner to just rail him with a headshot.
Stewie just waited for it. He's like, all right, I'm going to chill here until you maybe plant. I might move out afterwards, but I'm going to spend a moment on this angle. And Shell's actually quite smart in the clutch, so I thought that he maybe would have been able to take that, but a great hold from Fur from the pit in the 2vx. And also, as soon as he flashed, Zan just like jumped right into him.
Yep.
You'd assume that you'd maybe want to jump the opposite way of the flash, but not this time around. No, he was all in. 4 ops here on CG side.
That's a whole lot of sniper rifle.
Just get a kill each. I love this strat.
Big old cannons in play.
Smoking mid and 4 ops.
Meta. Fur up close versus Horvey. Should most certainly take this kill, which he will. The rest of the T is just going to try to blast past by circumventing the threat and heading up truck side. But then they pump the brakes and wait. Not wanting to go all in. That bomb was not yet in position, and that could have been a problem. In fact, it was, because now this play is starting to come to a grinding halt. Not entirely over as the AK still stands strong, but the ops all the better. And it falls to Zan. Alone. in a very lonely world, Launders. No teammates, no weapon other than the Deeg. Oh, and cold shoulder peaks for the win. So a complete and utter dismantling here on the second map. We saw promise on Dust 2, a surprising amount of it, I would argue, as they did force it into overtime. But once MIBR find their footing on Inferno, it is in absolute and utter convincing fashion that they pick up this second map.
And it feels like almost every map that MIBR played, we think, okay, they're going to win, they're going to stomp, but then they don't. And then here, you know, in Inferno, I can't say I haven't felt any more confident, but but it started to make sense. As soon as this round started to roll on, then they actually start fooling around at the end because they just have it made.
Right, like we talked about, right? MIBR, they can just be these utter dominating type opponents, and that's what we get in this map. We never know who it's going to be. We never know which version of them when it comes to these most recent of online games. And tonight, they've showed us on Inferno what they are truly capable. They completely shut down INTZ, and there you have it, 2-0. So we'll see what the folks on the analyst panel have to say about Inferno.
Thank you, Scrawny and Launders. Now that was a little bit better, right? By all things considered for Made in Brazil.
Yeah.
But what we should expect from a team like that, right? That was more what we were hoping to see. And maybe it was just a factor then that INTZ, okay, Dust 2 is a good map for them. They are aware of how to play it potentially. Or maybe Made in Brazil just went, we made that a little bit too close on the first map. Let's just wreck face now.
I think it's more than just like hoping for MIBR to do that. You expect them to do that against INTZ, honestly. They were just teams at different levels. As we wow, we love the new panorama, by the way. It is lovely, isn't it? It just has
Look at them.
Yeah,
Look at them.
and the new skins. Just gotta love to see that. But anyway, yeah, MIBR definitely finally finding their footing, playing like an actual Counter-Strike team of their caliber. And I mean, they won the first round. They lost the second round. You'd think this might get a little, you know, spicy still. It definitely gets spicy still, but no, they just got the footing going. I mean, they would take control of Banana or top of middle, win all the early battles, and you could just tell like the way that MIBR was coming through to Banana, using Molotovs, to sandbags, to car, and even if INTZ has like 3 players trying to aggress Banana, they just had no dice. Like they would always lose 2 players instantly. And that was pretty much the rounds over. So this was much more convincing. It's good to see that MIBR does have that normal mode as well. They don't have to slow mode everything.
Yeah. It's about time, right? This is what we come to hope and see from a team like Made in Brazil. This is much what we wanted to see from them. And at least from INTZ, okay, Dust 2 is a map you can play. Inferno, maybe you've got shut down a bit out of this, but you clearly were never meant to match up to them head-to-head, really.
No. It was a mismatch to start with. That's just to be expected. And Dust 2 is a map like we pointed out before. It's more free-floating. It's like the puggy map of all maps. Going into Inferno, you just need to have a lot of protocols. You need to have a lot of good strats and an understanding of how do we react? Like, what are our opponents doing, and what kind of way do we defend to try and block that happening? I mean, they tried, like Banana control, for example, but then it's like, you need to realize, when do we forfeit Banana? You know, once there's too much pressure, you kind of have to. When can we do a little cheeky boost here and there, try to get that kill? Maybe try to do like a pop flash into Banana, as your opponents have taken over that, where the car used to be on top of Banana. But, you know, you just didn't see any of that kind of stuff. You know, the small little details that ultimately make a difference against a team that's as capable as MIBR.
And the confidence started to shine through. I think that was the main thing, right? Because we spoke about it already. It's like the focus wasn't there.
Yeah.
This time around, it was full force, Made in Brazil, what you expect. And I think maybe Dust 2 just gave them that shock, maybe the kick in the ass they needed to get there.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, that was horrible. Dust 2, honestly.
Exactly.
I mean,
we don't want to see that again.
Yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all. It's just the fact of the matter is that they seem to be going into the game thinking this is just going to be a walk in the park, but then obviously it wasn't. You can see in the overtime that they finally realized that, I think we've made this a little too dicey for ourselves. It's time to pick it up. Even then, not 100% super clear. It's still 3-0 first half, and then, you know, make it a 4-0 overtime. That's as clear cut as it can get. But if you look inside those numbers, still wasn't, you know, the most clean as you could possibly have.
Now, one thing I'll say positive about INTZ, though, is that at least it shows us that this lineup, I think, coming up against some of the other teams throughout the NA Pro League here, is that they will have a good chance. We'll see some closer back and forth games. A matchup I definitely would want to see is the Luminosity versus INTZ game, because they've both got similar flaws, and it will come down to that individual skill, I think, between those two.
Yeah, I mean, Lucas and Henny probably love KNG, right? So
let's try for the hell on him some more, right?
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. Obviously, I think it's a pretty similar story to Envy. In the sense that there's still, it's a lot about learning experiences and being able to play against these teams that are more established. And that's the only and one and only avenue that actually will improve you as a team. It's then your job to then actually improve on things.
Of course.
Something that Luminosity hasn't necessarily done so well so far. So let's see what the other Brazilian team is capable of in that regard.
Yeah, and this is a thing as well, because like Luminosity is seen as the second team there, right? When I spoke about going through that Chicago qualifier, it was a lot easier for Luminosity, but that was the early days of this no tag, now INTZ lineup. So give them some more time, maybe see how they do. But I certainly think just across the board, you've got the individual plays in there. Let's get a little bit more tactical. Let's see what can happen. Let's see what practice they can get here within the Pro League.
Yeah, I mean, still. It's only the first couple of games they've not played, right? There's a lot more to be played, and if you go through their track record overall, I think with this lineup they played like 10, 15 maps, so that's not all too much to get there in today's Counter-Strike.
Yeah, exactly. It's all this kind of learning curve that I think INTZ are going to massively need to take advantage of, and I think as well, if they do want to be seen coming to any of these events, right, and make their way to the bigger stages here, it needs to be gelling a bit better as a team, because it's not just like having this trio that they've always had together, right? You've got KNG, you've got Phelps that played together a bit, but it's not the kind of synergy that you expected from the previous Immortals roster, for example, that they're maybe used to.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, you could definitely tell, like, playing Inferno when there's a lot more tactical aspect. Let's say if we would have gone to something like Ash, so you can definitely free float on that map too. But like we've talked about before, city side especially, you need to have a lot of protocols. I feel like it could have been even a bigger mismatch. Inferno, already you get beat down 16-4, and then on Dust 2 you play really, really close. There's just only yes, Dust 2 can be in general a good map for you, but the way you get that overtime loss. From INTZ's perspective, it's still not like you can just go through that demo and think, okay, these are the things that we were doing definitely right, and something that we can sustainably do every single time we play Dust 2. But it's more like a lot of Hail Marys, a lot of the things that were just basically intuitive, which is a good thing, because you need those type of plays as well. But then you need to build upon that. You need to get the basics to be able to actually have the foundation to progress on the ladder, become better as a unit.
Now, just having a look down the standings there myself, just to update where Made in Brazil put themselves. They've played 2 matches more than anyone else, but they're only sat in second place. You've got Renegades above them at the moment. Ghost can easily overtake them. Same for Liquid and Rogue. So I still think, okay, we're seeing a better Made in Brazil as we go throughout this. And yes, it's only week 1 of 4, but it'll be interesting to see how this develops, because they are going to quickly run out of chances, given the fact the way they started this off. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, for them, the way they look at it in the big picture is that, you just got to make it through the finals, actually.
Yeah.
And, slow starts is something that we've seen them do before in Pro League. So it's no news if you look at this lineup. But then again, that's what matters really for them at the end of the day. But yeah, going forward, it's going to be super interesting to see them play the likes of Renegades, for example, who've had a massive start, and see who will come out on top of the ladder end of the season.
And this is the exciting thing, right, about the first weeks we have here, is that actually we get this chance to see kind of everyone with their new rosters, with their potential changes, and also how these teams can be able to adapt to it. Because it's all well and good, like we spoke about Ghost, being able to prepare for teams, be seriously engaged in that battle and say, okay, look, I know how this team plays. A lot of these newer teams, especially in the NA Pro League, you cannot do that research on, you cannot do that prep on, you can't find your way around it. So I feel like we're in for a spicy season that's only just begun, definitely here.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think that the approach has to be more vanilla for the teams playing against these new lineups. Definitely not the way that MIBR tried to go for the Dust 2 game, because they were just trying to one up INTZ all the time and play the gun in style where it's a lot about running gun and them having all the individual skill that they have. But yeah, you rather want to construct it with the defaults and just try to be more smart about it. You make your day easier, basically. For me, looking at it, it just feels kind of dumb. Like, why do you play that way when we know exactly the way that MIBR can play as a unit? So I think it's more than like an attitude issue for some of the teams, going into these games. I think something that Liquid is actually pretty good at. Even though they might have had, yes, a little bit of moments here and there in the first halves of their games earlier against Envy, but in the big picture, they still made sure that they were basing their game off of the fundamental things that they're really, really good at. So, yeah, that's something for everyone to, especially when you are expected to be in that top 4 in your region. That's the way to approach a game.
Oh, yes. Well, talking about games, the next game coming up is going to be Cloud9 versus Rogue, but they are currently in the middle of another game at the moment, which means we need to just take a little bit more of an extended break. For the first time this week, we are actually ahead of schedule, so we will be back in about 20-30 minutes or so. So do stay tuned, do stick with us, because the road to Odense is going to continue very soon.